there, comic book people of the world. It's comic book day, although there is one particular comic book that I was really interested in this week, which was Flash Forward issue number 1, that I'm hoping is going to be the redemption for Wally West, the Flash, in my personal opinion. However, there are a couple other comic books that came out this week that I'll touch on really briefly. First is History of the Marvel Universe, issue number 3. If you're interested in knowing some of the backstories that's been going on in the Marvel Universe, this is a great series for you, although it is touching upon some major events. Obviously, they can't touch on everything, but still I think they're doing a really good job of it. And I love the idea that Franklin Richards, son of Mr. Fantastic and the Invisible Woman, is the one that's going along with Galactus, going through their history. I personally think it's a really fun read, especially being that they chronicle the individual issues that's being touched upon in the beginning of the book at the end of this as well, so I think that's great. Superman issue number 15. I personally think this is worth it, just to see the legion of superheroes meet up with Superman and his son, and of course Supergirl. This is the new incarnation of the Legion, which some people don't like, but personally, I'm just happy to have them back in the DC Universe. We find out the fate of Jor-El, you know, Superman's daddy. He's not exactly a good guy, and he has messed with so many different types of time warps and realities and stuff that he is being judged. This is a good read, and I'm surprisingly happy to see Jonathan Kent return back with Superman and Supergirl, and of course Krypto. Batman issue number 79. This is part of the whole City of Bane storyline. This is more so just to reconnect with Batman and Catwoman training, and also getting their act together to go back to Gotham to retake it from Bane, and also Batman's daddy, Thomas Wayne, who happens to be in Gotham as well. It's kind of funny how Batman and Superman both have daddy issues like this. Regardless though, this issue is just meh at the best. I mean, it's nice to see Batman where he really looks like Tom Selleck, and have him and Catwoman finally work up the courage to go back to Gotham to retake it, but really, this doesn't seem all that necessary. House of X issue number 5. We finally find out in this issue how Xavier is able to clone his students and bring them back to life. It is a bit of a complicated process with several mutants all working together to do this, including the mutant Goldballs, which I really never thought that he would have a substantial role in the X universe. The big thing about this issue is seeing all of the villains and all of the anti-heroes join up with the heroic mutants, so it's like a huge unified mutant front with Xavier at the head. This is a great series, although still we're 5 issues in and I'm not really quite sure what the end result of this is going to be. Finally, let's talk about Flashpoint issue number 1. This is written by Scott Lobdell and illustrated by Brett Booth. Of course, the artwork is incredible. I am a huge fan of Brett Booth's work. The story, on the other hand, it's kind of weird how things are being done in this. The cosmic being known as Tempus Fuginaut is being brought into this series, which, if you're not aware of him, he was introduced into the Sideways series, which was thought up by Dan Didio, which explains why he's being brought into this, because I'm pretty sure the Lobdell was forced into using him. Regardless though, he sees that there's an issue with the dark multiverse, and as it's leaking into the regular multiverse, and he needs a being to help him out because it's always a Flash that's involved with all these multiversal things. Who is he turning to? Wally West, of course. Meanwhile, Wally West is being held at Blackgate Prison for accidentally killing some of his fellow superheroes during the whole Heroes in Crisis storyline. He's depowered and he's surrounded by villains that all hate him. He has an inhibitor collar around his neck, preventing him from using his abilities. However, from a skirmish with several supervillains, it does break off, so he can go ahead and use his abilities. In comes Tempus Fuginaut at the end to somehow whisk him away and put him on his new journey to help him out in stopping this whole leaking between the dark multiverse and the regular multiverse. There's a little subplot in the background about the Mobius chair, and somehow this is going to be playing into the big story, but I'm not sure how it's going to be tied together. Most of this issue is Wally in depression about what he had done and how this is affecting his future as a superhero. But one thing that kind of bugs me about all of this is he's left alone in this prison, surrounded by people who want to kill him, even though he still has heroes and friends that love him, and they're just totally abandoning him. His previous universe's wife, Linda, does show up briefly, but he just brushes her off and leaves. It's really sad to see Wally in such a state, being that he was such an important character in the whole rebirth of the DC universe. I really don't think that this series is going to put him back into that spotlight once again, but I do hope that it redeems him. Like I said at the beginning of this video, Wally West is my Flash. He's my definitive version of the Flash. I grew up knowing him as the Flash. I don't have the highest hope for this series, being that I'm not the biggest fan of Scott Lobdell's writing, but you know what? I'm gonna take it for what it is at this point. Okay, so I've been rambling enough about this. This is my comic load for this week. What did you guys read? Leave comments down below and let me know. With that, thank you guys for watching me in this video. Be sure to check out my Patreon sites, check out my social media sites, my websites, and everything else out there. Peace, love, namaste, and I'll see you later. Peace. I'm in love with a hero. hoping that Wally meets up with N-Pulse Bart Allen at some point down the line. I love the dynamics between these two characters, where Bart was his protege in the previous universe. So seeing them together is something that I really, really want to see in a future comic. Maybe in the Young Justice comics, being that they're going through the multiverse themselves.